Welcome to the PFD Performance YouTube channel. Pretty friggin' deadly.
Well, it's Sunday, day after yesterday, which was Saturday, and we measured push rods probably the slow way now that I've looked back on, past videos I've watched and we rewatched another thing. We're gonna double check to make sure we didn't screw it up. Forgot that this method is called like the mid-lift method. So it works pretty good and it's fairly straightforward, and it's all about making sure your rocker is 90 degrees to the top of the valve at the middle of the cam lift. That essentially should make it so that the arc is centered, which will minimize the travel. So I'm gonna do that on this, double check what length we get, and cross our fingers that it's what I ordered. Otherwise, I might have to get a quick cancellation and order some new stuff. So the big thing here is, and by no means am I saying I came up with this, I'll just regurgitate what I watched from, I think it's Stroud something. Anyway, super in-depth video. I might even drop a link down below here, just so you know that I'm definitely not taking credit for this. But more or less, use a straight edge, Allen key will do. Set that across the valve retainer, and then you try and set it up so that your rocker is square to the top of your valve, and then you lower your lock nut by the amount that your valve, half of your valve lift. So I'll kind of walk through. You should be able to kind of see. I might even bring you in a little closer. Now the one thing I might be up against is the rest stud might not be quite long enough to get me. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be like maybe one thread on. So the tricky part is right now I can't quite get my exhaust rocker tall enough to square up on this valve. So I'll probably push this off to the side, and I'll start with the intake side. I think that one generally looked like it'd be taller. So I come in here, set your Allen key across your retainer and eyeball it so that your rocker is like 90 degrees to the retainer, so it's nice and parallel. I think, just get in here and double check. That looks pretty close. Now we take our little paint pen. We just mark the flat on this side. So now we're going to use a bit of the information that we had from yesterday as well, where you take half of your valve lift. We know we're 680 here. 680 divided by 2. It's going to be 340. We know one full rotation on our adjuster here is 50 thou based on the 7/16 by 20. So then we're going to take 340 divided by 50. 340 divided by 50 is going to be 6.8 turns. So we'll probably go like 6 3/4. 6.8 turns. So then come here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half, 3/4, and a schnitz. Now, essentially all I need to do is now adjust this push rod to take out the lash. Okay, now this should now tell us what our push rod length needs to be. So I'll finagle this thing back out of here. It's gonna be to 0 lash, and we know that we're supposed to go 30 to 40 thou preload, so we will need the push rod 30 to 40 thou longer than this. Now we're gonna hope that this works out very close to 7.9. And I feel like it should. So I'm getting 7.95, which is a little bit longer than what I had before. Plus we need to add 35 thou. So then we go 7.953, and we want to add 0.35 is going to be 7.988. So it's definitely a little bit longer than what I had measured yesterday. So now I just take a quick look at Summit and see what sort of lengths that we can get. We'll clear 7.9 length, filter results, 7.975 would be just a hair short and like 13 thou short, or we could go 12 thou long, and I think I prefer to be short rather than long. But we can see what they've got in the 7.975 and 8 inch. So I'll have to do some order adjusting, I think. The tricky part is going to be the intake one here. I'm just going to see if for some reason this stud's a little shorter than others. So that one stud is just I do a little swap-a-roo here. Okay. This is the one that I replaced a little while back because it broke. Alright, now let's see if our slightly longer stud. I guess we could always loosen it off. Let's see. Stud. Adjuster. Still not super stoked on that. So let us now we should have plenty of opportunity to slide this up, and I might need to get some longer rocker studs. Love how these things just snowball. the lock nut stuck inside. So now we're coming up with 8.955. So we got 8.955 plus 0.35 is 8.990. So roughly about the same amount that I mismeasured on the other one. So just purely relying on adjusting it, checking the sweep, adjusting it, checking the sweep, didn't quite work out. So yeah, this mid-lift method, as long as you got the right length rocker studs, should help. Now one thing I'm gonna check is how many studs I actually get on the rocker, like how many turns I get with the lock, to make sure that I'm getting decent thread engagement with the longer push rod, because that was also part of the reason why I went a little on the shorter side of the range that I had tested. So yeah, learn like I did. Do it before you order. And hopefully I can cancel this Jungle website order. Anyway, I'm going to fart around with a couple other little things here. And maybe just triple check myself. And then we should get some parts on order. And then back together. All right, well, we're back out after lunch. Figured we'd make some more progress. Nothing too crazy. I will show you something I read. For the valve springs, they recommend chamfering the inside of the spring. And it's mostly where the flat is, because, you know, the round is round. But yeah, Manly recommends doing that because it can rub on the retainer, and if it's got a hard edge, it can apparently gall the retainer a little bit, and it just creates fine metal particles you don't want inside your engine. So I'm probably going to throw the TV on and find a little spot to sit and just chamfer it out. You can get this tool. It's like a little cone with sandpaper. Everyone says it's like stupid for how long little sandpaper cones last. So I'm just going to get a Dremel tool with a cone bit and just lightly touch all of these just to take any little bit of edge off. Unfortunately, it's going to take the nice cool gold color off of it. But it's all in the name of not wrecking stuff. So I'll get after that, and we'll call that good. Maybe I'll set you up on time lapse and you can just watch me. Anyway, catch you in a bit. All right, well, that didn't take too long. Was it necessary? I'm not 100% sure. Will it hurt? I really don't think so. if something bad did happen, would I kick myself for not spending the 30 minutes doing it? Probably. So, might be tricky to see, but just kind of kissed all the inside edges here, especially the mostly the inside spring, but then also the top edge of the damper and just the outer spring. And that's because the inner spring fits around here, the outer spring kind of fits around here, and then the damper rides in the middle. So I just wanted to minimize any sharp edges that could grind in. But new valve springs ready to go. Now that I checked the push rod lengths, I think I'm going to tidy up some of my workbench here. Finish wiping down the valves that I cleaned off the carbon deposits with, and maybe reassemble the head. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reassemble the head. And then the other one's going to have to come apart. And then I'm going to have to clean all that up and reinstall this. But at least I don't have to like check pushrod stuffs on that side. So I'm going to get after this here. And I might throw you on time lapse, but the battery's getting low. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned not the hard way like I did. And I mean, ultimately, I didn't do it the hard way. But yeah, I just want to say thanks again for watching, following along. I know it's been a while since we've had any Opal content up. I think it's been almost a year since we posted the first Opal video, and we didn't really get to do a whole lot fighting the tune. I'm really, really confident that what we're doing now is going to help set us up for success, or it'll just all be my fault. Anyway, we'll catch you later. Stay deadly.